Brother, I am here all the way live. All the way live.
I'm gonna take time to welcome myself to your world.
Brother?
My brother, my player partner. Been a long time coming, but a change done came.
That's right, brother, that's right.
Listen, first thing I want to say, man, is thank you for the opportunity. Man, this is one of the most comfortable spots, man, that I ever came to, man, to consider doing an interview, man. So I want to thank you for that, first of all, man. It's very nice out here. Only y'all can imagine. I'm gonna give y'all a little B-roll of what I'm looking at right now, but hope y'all heard that. It's real nice.
Ain't nothing like God's country, baby.
Man, for real. On everything.
Rural Hines County?
Yeah.
Ain't no place like it.
Yeah.
Come on out to the country, and you can just, let nature take all the
come out here,
stress out.
Get rid of all your stress, all your toxins. You know what I'm saying? Got good spirit out here, man. Nothing but nature talking to you.
That's right.
And if anybody that's looking at this as a country boy, or feel like you're a country boy, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, brother.
But anyway, man, once again, thanks, man. And I don't have any official subjects to talk about, so we're just gonna sit and have a conversation.
Oh man, we can just give context.
Ain't no doubt.
To our relationship.
No doubt, ain't no doubt.
Our commonalities.
That's right.
Because sometimes people don't view people in the right light.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
They don't understand that you can be looking at two people and the same person at the same time.
That's right. That's right. You speaking my type of language.
They just may be dressed different. They may just talk different, but they could very well be the same person.
Now, on that note, it's a lot of stuff that's going on in our culture right now.
That's right.
All right. First thing I want to ask you about is your point of view or your opinion on our people at this point in our society, man. That's the first thing I want to ask you about. What do you have to say about that?
It's time for us to answer a major question.
What's that?
We are at the same spot but a different level of ability than our culture has been in the past. We've been in the same spot before, but we had a higher level of ability. We had a higher level of ability when the Moors were pushed out of Spain, but they in a place where they used to rule. They still had technical ability, a sense of self and culture and identity. They still had more rooted spiritual systems in place and levels of tenacity to protect it. Our position now is we've gotten too comfortable, and now we have to immediately put some booster cables if there will ever even be an us 100 years from now.
Yeah, we touched bases on this the other night when I saw you. And it was a lot of stuff going on, so we really couldn't get comfortable in the conversation. But that's something that I struggle with, man. I've been struggling with for years, man, the holding our people accountable.
That's right.
And when you get to that point, man, of holding our people accountable, people have they get in their feelings, like my father used to say, you get the draws in a bunch, and they kind of corner up and be caught in a position of moving forward or staying stagnant, staying where they are. Now, the reason I ask your opinion on that is to kind of open up the floor to talking about some of the things that our people really, the stuff that's at the forefront. You know what I'm saying? In our city right now, we got the city officials arguing with one another. Ain't nobody getting nothing done. The job ain't getting done because of differences in opinions, ages, all types of stuff, man. It's a plethora of stuff we can name. But on the outside of that, we got the Diddy situation, we got the Thugger situation, we got the presidential election that just came up. So it's a bunch of stuff out there. If you mix and put it all in a pot like gumbo, man, we just got a whole bunch of chaos going on. And me personally, with my people, I'm trying to hold us accountable, man, for being independent and moving forward, policing ourselves, handling our own business.
Blakk, the question that has to be answered is an individual question for each person. Do you want to be free or do you want to be a slave? And when everybody looks in the mirror and answers that question, everything else changes in your life. And that's an individual thing. And then of those that decide that they want to be free, surround yourself with those people to at least save yourself, insulate yourself, move your culture forward, move your identity forward, move your family forward, move everything you have forward. Because that's the only group you're going to have to move forward, the people who want to move forward.
What about?
And so then that gives us more ability to bring other folks forward as well. But that's why when they talked about the talented 10th, the talented 10th got to drag the 90 forward. That's our responsibility for being the talented 10th.
What about family members that
I'm getting them too. I'm going to advance so hard that I ain't leaving them, my family behind. And then if I draw my circle around what I'm willing to live or die for, and you draw your circle, and those circles start to intersect, and then we connect with other folks, and then you have a circle of people who have a list of things that this is what I will live for, and this is what I will die for. And then you move forward.
It sounds good. I understand exactly where you're coming from.
But when you start drawing lines like that in your life, you're going to lose some friends.
And family members. That's what I'm speaking on.
Fine. But in a few years, when they see, oh man, they moving forward, they come back.
Okay, now what do you do with them when that time comes around? Because once you get the ball rolling, you done put all of this work in.
That's right.
Now here they come, want to jump on the bandwagon and reap the benefits.
Come on, baby, come on.
Come on with it.
Come on.
That's the way you look at it.
Because my mantra is I work with the willing. If you are willing to move forward in your life, if you're willing to move your community forward, I'm working with you. I am not working with people who are unwilling to move forward.
What about those that want to come and infiltrate?
The whole state's moving forward. I don't care. We have been dealing and having to move forward. That's why the first question I ask every leader is what historical context is your service rooted in? And if your historical context that your service is rooted in is the same as mine, we've had people that look like us in the same room with us as we plan to move our community forward and still have to move forward anyway, knowing that we got a Judas in the room. So now if you know that you got a Judas in the room, it's been historically proven, no matter what generation of black folks it is.
Yep.
You've always had a few of those. But you got to do what Jesus did. I'm going to finish the game. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And as long as I do what I'm supposed to do, everything that may be part of the plan, God. If he gave his own son a Judas, what you think? Don't you think he got some people that's in your circle that you need to deal with? But your responsibility is still do your job.
I'm gonna tell. See, it makes it, man.
So now, I said all that to say to answer your question. If I figured out how to deal with my Judases, when somebody try to infiltrate me, don't you think I'm gonna figure that out too?
I feel you. I'm dealing with that personally right now.
Yeah.
With some very, very, very close family members.
Man, Kirk Franklin said something that pierced me to the core a year ago. Most folks don't know. A year ago, I was broken. I'm still broken to a degree.
We all are.
But I was broke. I'm talking about broke down. Like when my daughter went missing, I went through all that and ran the campaign. My grandmama died last year.
Yeah.
I was broken. And Kirk Franklin had a video on Instagram, and he says, if you can win, even if you got the win broken, win anyway. Because there's so many people who ain't in a position to win. So those of us who are in a position to win have a responsibility to all of those who have been slipped through the cracks, caught in the cracks. If you was the rose that came through the concrete, don't apologize for not being pretty like other people. Your pathway was different, baby. I came from Sunset Apartments F4. See, folks don't know that. Folks don't know we you know what I mean? When they talk about, Jackson.
Right.
When they talk, you know what I'm saying?
Understood.
So it's time for us that can win in whatever space your life is. If you can win, you have a responsibility to the culture to win anyway. No matter what's going on with your mama, your daddy, your sister.
Just keep pushing forward.
Win. If you can win, win. In anything.
All right, and those that you have to hold them accountable for that simply refuse to accept accountability.
Great, bye.
And how do you dismiss, let's just say a wife or a son or a daughter that's broken, they're that broken to where you can't, well, I can't, I'm gonna just say it, personally dealing with a situation like that, I have not found the tools to advance somebody that close to me. I got a saying, and most of the members of my family don't like me to say this, but I got a saying that says, I struggle with one of my sons. Matter of fact, he just called me. And, our generation is a little bit different than theirs.
That's true.
Our parents' generation.
Our voice a little deeper.
Yeah. It's a lot of things.
I said our voice a little deeper.
Absolutely. I understand what you're saying. Now, you probably lost some people when that happened.
We were raised by. I have a balanced life. Let me ask you your first question first, though.
Okay.
How you deal with them? You said somebody that's broken, that's close to you, right? How you deal with somebody who's broken, who's close to you?
Where it's not that.
But hold on, I'm finna answer it. Acknowledge your contribution to their brokenness. Truly acknowledge your contribution to their brokenness in an empathetic way. Then you turn around and say, okay, after you give it some time, it ain't just like a quick thing. You just can't put it in the microwave and fix this, right? Because you've been broken. I'm talking about your contribution. I ain't talking about the rest of the world contribution.
Understood.
Measure and write it down on a piece of paper. This is my contribution to the brokenness in your life, and I am sorry. And I want to work towards fixing just my slice. I ain't asking nothing from you. I want to give you some healing in these pieces, on this piece of paper right here, that I messed up. And I'm going to commit to work on that. Then, if that sit for a little while, and you don't get positive results, you say, my job is to follow God, not people. No matter who the people is. If God had put something in here and then gave me the ability right here, and then turn around, I got access to YouTube, Google, and every piece of information in the world, I got an obligation to the Creator to move forward. And allow that relationship to smolder, and I work with it at the time that we have to work with it, you know what I'm saying? But your job, if it's gonna take you away from fulfilling the what God got for you, and you being empathetic about what you did to cause this problem in the first place, and you committing to working to solve the problem and work the relationship, okay, you committed to that. But I'm also committed to move forward and do what God called me to do. More so than that.
Where is let me see how I should put this. Okay, let me ask this. Well, first of all, let me bring this situation that I was telling you about. the son that I'm dealing with, that we have been to the round table with the issues.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, his thing is nothing's his fault.
Okay.
Nothing's his fault.
Mm-hmm.
Even direct things that he deals with, nothing's his fault. Okay? That's the first thing. That's why I mentioned accountability.
Right.
All right. But then when it goes to being empathetic or being an empath,
Mm-hmm.
and let's sit down and talk about that, then it's, I don't have anything to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It's a block every which way you come.
Mm-hmm.
Until you get to the point where you say, okay, well, I'm gonna just let you go figure it out on your own. You need me, holler at me.
That's right. Because who is the father?
Understood. I'm the father.
So I love my children intimately well.
Mm-hmm.
They've been the fuel to my fire.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna
In
love
many
you
ways.
in a way. You know what? I don't have a son. I've been a son, and I know from my experience of being a son that your relationship with your daddy gonna be rough, especially if you a bull. Your relationship with daddy gonna be rough but then it's gonna go through ups and downs.
I haven't, you know what?
It's gonna go through ups and downs.
I feel the same thing.
It ain't. See, this is why I say when it comes to men,
right.
we internalize so much and don't communicate with each other, just with men.
Mm-hmm.
We don't hang out like we used to. Remember when we were growing up, on Saturday, all the men would show up on the farm.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd be cutting wood. I had great uncles, my daddy, great grandfather, cousins. All the men would go this way. And one of the most horrific days of my life, I was down there goofing off on the farm one day. We were cutting wood. And I did something stupid, And my dad looked at me and said, "Go back with the women." I'm probably about 10. Man, I walked back to the house. Feel like I've been castrated. Like that man took my soul. I had to walk back to the women.
So did
and
you?
Hold on, let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
I walked back up the hill.
Uh-huh.
We probably about half a mile away. I had to walk through the woods, get back to the road, then come up the road. And they saw me come the road. They out there shelling peas on the porch and doing whatever, doing what grandmamas and aunties and the women be doing. And they knew, Keitha done did something crazy down there. And now I'm sitting there, I'm sitting there getting stuff together. I'm in there making some sandwiches. Clean the bathroom, folks' clothes.
Is that where you wanted to be?
When they pulled back up to unload the wood, I go back out there thinking that I was part. No, my dad was like, "Nah, let's make them damn sandwiches. We're gonna unload the wood."
So where did you want to be?
No. What I'm saying is,
I understand. I feel what you're saying.
the psychological impact, the vehicle to produce that kind of manhood does not exist in commonplace in our community anymore.
Break that down for the people, man. Cause
that's why men have to come together and work as men along with young men to create a culture inside of manhood that's with a definition.
But that don't exist no more. Man.
That's why I say it's up to the ones who have a complete development of manhood.
I don't think, man, listen.
But hey, Black, okay, let me give you a perfect example. I'm gonna use you as a perfect example. Say we're sitting here.
Okay.
Your father.
Yes, sir.
Your job is save your circle.
Absolutely.
I love my community.
But
I
my
love-
circle.
Your job say your circle.
Right.
That's your job. You're in the talented, not the talent. You're not in the talented. Well, you're in the talented 10th, but you're in the talented 1th. And we got a whole bunch of people that we love to death of different levels of talent in different areas. So now, the people in the top 1 have a responsibility to help folks. And then and Mississippi's so interconnected. When you start drawing circles around your circle, I'm gonna connect with your circle, because Mississippi not like the rest of the world. The rest of the world says there's 6 degrees of separation. In Mississippi, it's 1. So if the men of good, I ain't even talking about the women. Women gonna do what women gonna do. Men say, you know what? I'm gonna put men in my circle that's moving forward.
Out of every 10 men, how many you think is built like that today?
I spend the majority of my time of my day, I measure it. Like, bro, just called me. Mac Epps just called me. One of my best friends. He in my circle. I'm in his circle. Our circles don't just intersect.
Right.
We both are in each other's circle.
Right, and I can attest to that. I see that. I've been seeing that.
You've been seeing me and Max together.
See, you're one of those men that are built like that.
Right.
There are plenty in our community,
That's right.
in our city, in our government.
They ain't built like us.
They're not built like that, bro.
No, not that. They're not built like us.
True.
All right, shake my hand. When you shake my hand, what you feel?
Man, strength.
Okay?
Strength.
Okay?
Yeah.
That means I had a tool with a wooden handle growing up.
Exactly.
Okay?
So we coming around to it.
Right. So those of us who have what we have, it's our responsibility and obligation to stay connected and develop that and not let the world take that away.
Man, I wrestle with that so hard. With my youngest and the one I just got through telling you about.
America,
talking to you
black
about.
or white, is not producing enough of those men.
And then
And the only people who can produce them is who? Men.
Me, yeah, because it's no blueprint for it out there. It's not a blueprint out there for it. I heard you mention a little while ago, the women gonna do what they do.
That's right.
All right. So this community that you're talking about, your uncles, your the men that you came up under, I had that same blueprint over me coming
But
up.
check this out. I can tell that if I didn't know you, and I walked up and I said, hello, my name is Dekeither Stamps.
Right.
And you introduced yourself.
Right.
And you shook my hand. And I looked you in the eye.
You can tell it right then.
Immediately.
Right.
That's why we're not going to stop shaking hands. I'm going to put some hand sanitizer on when I get back in the truck.
Right.
But I only deal with me.
You got the fellowship. Man, we're going to have to. Are you still interested in podcasting?
For sure. I'm
Man,
down.
we got to get it. We got to get it. We got to find some sponsors and some money rolling around here and get this rolling, because I'm at a point now in my life where I'm almost about to jump out my marriage, because these things that I wrestle with are almost overwhelming to the point where it's almost hands up. And I was telling you a little while ago, I never did get finished saying it, that I got this saying in my family where if what you're doing to yourself is gonna hurt me, then I have to turn you loose. I don't know if you can filter through that and understand what I'm saying. Meaning, hypothetically, if it's a situation where I'm trying to get you to take care of your health,
That's right.
I see that your health is declining by the way you're treating your body, the things that you're consuming, how you're eating, not sleeping, the people the company you're keeping.
Right.
and I say, okay, I'm not gonna tolerate that no more.
Right.
You're living in my household, that bothers me. So if you're gonna deal with situations like that, you got to go.
You know, I would look at it like this, man. Over the last probably 40 years, people have been developing differently. So in order to exercise manhood in 2024, you can't exercise it at the development level of a man in 1964 with the limited skill sets and limited emotional intelligence or all that. You can't. You could. I'm just saying it may not be as successful.
It won't be.
No. Right. So we have to develop as men in 2024 or men in the new world. We have to develop some skills that our fathers didn't have and can't teach us.
You lost me. You lost
We got to
me.
develop some skills that not our fathers, our grandfathers didn't have,
Gotcha. I understand now.
and our grandfathers can't teach us. We got to develop some skills that they didn't even have.
How the hell I understand.
Because inside,
I understand.
No, but
us.
check this out. Because how we lead our families has changed. We can't take. We got to take the pillars of the old model. Don't lose the foundation in the pillars. But we got to change the delivery. Okay.
You just stuck me in the gut. You just stuck me in the gut, man. You just gutted me like a fish.
We got to change the delivery, Black. You can do the same thing, but you got to change the delivery.
Why? Why the hell should I change my delivery? Now, I understand where you're coming from, but trust me, I do.
But check this out.
And I have changed my delivery to a certain degree. But why do you say that, man? Why do you say that?
And, well, first off, it goes back to knowledge of self.
Okay.
Okay. If you truly have a knowledge of self, let me cut this TV off.
Go ahead.
So I don't want to be messing your audio up. Want something to drink, Black?
I got some water right here.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. I ain't gonna mess your audio up.
Yeah, because if it's something, you know, that they protect and they'll strike you.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Get you back in line here.
Let's go.
Our delivery has to evolve without changing
The program.
our foundation and
the
our program.
Right.
So, for me, I like to write stuff down. So that I can say, did I do what I agreed to do?
You lost me again.
No.
Break
In
that
every
down to layman terms.
The first question I ask, whenever there's some tension.
Go ahead.
Whenever there's some tension in the house, whether it be my daughter, family, whoever, did I do what I agreed to do? That's the first question I ask in any dust up. Because
That you ask yourself.
that I ask myself first,
Right.
but then I ask whoever I'm dusting up with.
Okay.
You talking about your son, you talking about your wife, you talking about different things, right?
Right.
The first question you should ask is, did I do what I agreed to do? And then the answer to that question really don't even require that person, because you know what you agreed to do with this person. So if you did what you agreed to do, okay, now we're addressing somebody else or something else. And then you're going to address me with the right tone because you're not taking it out on me because I did what I agreed to do. Now, if I have not done what I agreed to do, I'm going to own up to what I didn't do. And the way I own up, I have to do it in an acceptable way.
Can you give me a situation?
Okay, give you a situation.
Yeah, give me a situation so that people can understand.
It's extreme now.
Come with it.
It's because it's on Blakk Too Strong podcast,
Man,
right?
come on with it, bro. I'm talking about
Now,
raw.
I don't condone hitting a woman.
Absolutely.
Because as a man, we got more skill sets than fighting. We have, killing instincts.
Mm-hmm.
You can't start down that road and then not control where it end up.
Right.
That's why I don't go hitting a woman.
Right.
But let's say a brother slapped his wife, slapped his woman,
Right.
and he come back and say, "I'm sorry. Now come to this meeting." Now in 19 something else, that may have been,
Acceptable.
right.
Or the way to do that, or
I ain't saying I approve of it then. I'm just saying it was done, But in 2024, that's not the way to do that. Because
Now-
if I got to hit somebody to get them to make some sense in the first place, if I got to hit somebody,
right.
if the communication has gone to the point where I got to hit you, or I feel like I ain't got to hit you, or I feel like I got to hit you, to me that's saying, okay, I'm saying that this person has to receive me hitting them in such a way that knowing I'm not trying to kill them and then not hit me back. You see how this is working?
Okay, now what would you say?
But then to turn around and have such a less amount of empathy that you say, "Hey, I'm sorry." Come on. No, yo, I'm sorry got to match what you did. What you did.
But see, in those days, it wasn't a "I'm sorry." And again, let me
Right.
start off saying this: I don't condone hitting women either. But how? Explain coming from that era when men,
And I never seen my daddy hitting a woman, so I didn't grow up in that.
when men, I guess, controlled their household by hitting and unapologetically.
Oh yeah, for sure, unapologetically. People still do it.
When that lightened up, when these rights came into development and things of that nature, women got out of hand.
No,
What do you think it is?
no, the emasculation of men in this country got out of
Decreased.
hand. The targeted emasculation for one subset of people infected their subset too. I'm saying we're not, okay, let me give you a perfect example. Have you gotten into an argument with a man of another race recently?
No.
Have you had an issue with another race personally? I'm not talking about group.
Understood.
I'm talking about mano a mano.
No. I never have in my life.
Okay. In your life, you have never met a white man personally and had a dust up,
Nope.
confrontation.
But I have plenty with my own people.
So now, when it comes to inside the house, if you have a playbook, we have a Stamps Family Playbook. It is a broken down list of what I agreed to do.
Dekeither.
Me. There is a list of what everybody agreed to do. And I need to update it because the last version I wrote was like in 2000. When I was, when you're in the military and the killing business, you never know if you're gonna die. So I wrote a whole list. I wrote a whole book that said, if I die, this is how your daily routine gonna be. This is how your mindset gonna be. These are the books you're gonna read by this age, by this age, by this age. This is what your activity. I wrote a whole book of how the goings on in this house gonna be because dad'll be gone for a year here, 6 months there, a year and a half there. Heck, my oldest daughter, I lost her, well, I lost time with her for 9 years of her life. Her daddy was somewhere else, doing something for 9 years of her life. So how I love and treat her is gonna be depicted upon first my contribution to that that caused for her personally. My contribution to that, to heal that, got to be from a standpoint that I caused some of that. And then work it from there. But also they got to know that I'm going to always love you. You can always come home broke, busted, disgusted. What you can always come home. If I ain't got a bed for a sleeping mine, you can always come home.
What made you, well, first of all, the times that you missed out of her life, was that in your control or out of your control?
I decided to join the military.
You didn't have to. You just decided to.
I decided to make that my course that I was going to go down, and that's a part of it.
When she was born, were you already in the military?
Yeah.
I look at that as different.
No. But even my children, my younger two, I chose that course, and I know the negative aspects of that course.
I mean, did you have issues with, PTSD or anything of that sort?
Of course.
Dealing with the family?
Of course. But see, when you commit to, when everybody knows that, hey, when my children know my daddy gonna do for me, I got you.
Right.
But for me, I had to take the skill sets I had at the time and say, what's the best pathway for how I've been built? And when I was in the 8th grade, I came home and told my dad I'm not going to college. I'm doing this right here.
What did you decide to do?
That's what I did.
Military.
I told my dad I'm going to guard the president in the 8th grade.
8th grade, you were going on 15?
No, listen.
15 going 12, on 16.
Whatever, however you are in 8th grade. Because the president came to Jackson, Mississippi, and we all had to hold the flags in ROTC, behind the president. And I saw these guys out there, they looked so cool with the sunglasses on and they were getting into the trucks. I was like, man, I want to do that. So I went and researched the Marine Corps. That's where I'm going.
What the hell, what impressed you about that?
I just saw all of it. I saw all of that. I was like, man, this is, so they were like, I've seen police officers and military folks, but these guys, they were at a whole nother level. That's the first time I saw you know what I mean? That's the first time I actually saw in person somebody in special operations. I had watched Vietnam movies and I had watched, other things. I watched, a Few Good Men and stuff like that. But that's the first time I seen those guys. Like when they walked in,
was your dad in the military?
Well, both my grandfathers, my great uncles.
So you grew up in the household where they had the military picture on the wall, that sort of thing.
My granddad, yeah.
Okay, so my father was in the military, but I want to make a point here, and out of this point, I want to ask you a question. Well, I want to ask your opinion on something, not a question, but it's still going to be a question. All right, so the reason I'm asking you what turned you on about that is because Even though my uncle, grandfather, father, two of my uncles rather, two of my father's brothers, my grandfather was in the military, and the military was deeply rooted in my family.
But
And
I can see it in your mode of operation.
But here's the thing, I didn't get it from the military.
I know, but you was in, you were in that culture. It was all around you. You can't run from it.
But I couldn't stand the military.
I got it. But that mode of activity, it's bleed through you every day. Every day.
Let me tell you, and this the question I was gonna ask you. I couldn't stand the military. Didn't want nothing to do with the military. Didn't. I can say it now. I ran from signing. At our age, around that time, you're supposed to go enlist, sign yourself up or whatever.
Selective service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I chose 5%er. I watched Islam. I watched the guys from New York that were in mode of operation under the FOI. That's what turned me on. I had a bitter taste in my mouth.
But you were raised with a manhood culture, but you still sought brotherhood, discipline, work ethic.
Right.
Going the FOI route is similar. You're doing the same thing, but you're doing it. But then you have a spiritual aspect, and you have other parts attached to that discipline process.
Right.
So you're still attracting at the core.
I understand.
It's a higher sense of duty.
Right. Understood.
Because contrary to popular belief, men, we love stuff, but for us, it's about duty.
Right.
And freedom.
We gonna have to start a podcast because this can be talked about, man. This is a segment probably can go on, man, for different episodes, man, for probably a month. And it's some healing to be done in it because
but who gonna fix them? Who gonna fix?
What do you mean?
Those of us who can be an example, as flawed as we are. Because I'm far from perfect.
Absolutely.
Far.
I agree.
But let me tell you this. Those of us who have an ounce of it left in us, just an ounce, out of the whole 204-pound body I got, if I just got an ounce of that hard manhood in me, I owe it to the next generations to share it.
That's all I'm saying, bruh.
That's it.
That's all I'm saying, but they don't want it.
Again, work with the willing. I'm going to work with the willing. If you're willing to be better, boom.
I got this thing. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I got this thing, and it's a lot of females in my family. My father's deceased. My uncles have gotten old. Families
by scientific culture design,
but families are not like they used to be no more. The close-knit family relationship that we had, that my father instilled in me, that's there.
But let me tell you this. Hold on. Let me tell you this. You gotta. I'm not telling you something that I don't do.
Right.
Listen here. Listen to me. When I came back from the military, when all the houses were in the neighborhood we grew up in was $30,000 and $20,000. Remember that? Just a few years ago. My family made a concerted effort and value village over comfort. Because I bought a house around the corner, my sister bought a house over here, my aunt over here, and then we already got other family members in the neighborhood because my dad, my mom, so my parents still live there. So I'm just saying we right there together. So it ain't nothing for me to swing by and walk in the house, or my sister's house, or my auntie house, or my cousin's house.
Bro, I'm the only motherfucker in my family pulling that way.
But my point I'm trying to make is rebuild village with the village you got. Like I said, Mac in my circle.
That's a hard one.
Listen,
That's a hard one.
listen. Mac, Jason. Everybody know my guys.
Right.
Right? So sometimes you got to bring in people. God gonna give you the people to connect with. You just gotta connect with them in a real way. Not, oh, hey, dog, nice to see you. No, I'm talking about real. Like, that's my guy. And you rebuild the village you lacking with the village you need.
Right.
And the same thing, vice versa.
Right. I understand that.
Mac was making $9 an hour for 19 hours a week, and so was Jason at the city, but they were working 60 hours a week. They were making $9 an hour for 19 hours a week because the position only paid that. And I wasn't finna ask for no raise, this is all we got, and he working 60 hours a week.
God.
See, that's the kind of leadership that we're not exercising anymore. These are grown men who are working 50 and 60 hours a week for a handful of money. Because of a sense of duty. Duty is what we're not teaching anymore.
Is that why the city is so
Duty.
messed up?
Duty. I got 451 family members live in Jackson.
How many?
451.
It's in the city of Jackson.
I got
Why
1,100. I got 1,118 family members live in Hines County.
What the hell made you go that route?
What route?
City.
I got 400 family members live in Jackson. Check this out. They said, man, do something.
Gotcha.
It wasn't that I tried to do this. This was far. This wasn't even my plan. The only reason I even ran for office was because I went to jail. That's the only reason I ran for office. Because JPD took me to jail.
For what, man?
Man, if I tell you, you're going to die laughing.
What the hell did you go to jail for, bruh?
An expired tag.
That ain't shit to go to jail for.
Car impounded, go to jail. At 11 o'clock in the morning.
Man, it's deeper than that.
Listen here, man. When I retired, I was happily retired. I bought me an RV, and I was just making trips around America. I crank up, go out for 2 weeks, come back, it's time to pick my daughters up, spend the weekend with them, take them back, get back on the road, go somewhere else. So
When was this?
This was 2010. So for me, I was just being retired. I was 32, 33 years old when I got back here.
How many years you do in the military?
12 and a half. I got hurt, and then they let me retire early.
Okay.
So I retired early and came back, living my life. And I drove one day, and my tag was expired. The guy pulled me over, and he says, hey, here you go, your ticket. I said, thank you. I drove off. The same officers pulled me over again and wrote me another ticket for an expired tag. I guess they said I wasn't nice enough to them the first time.
Wait.
The same car.
Listen though. After they pulled you over, gave you a ticket, you drove off.
Right.
Did they pursue you?
Yeah. And they pulled me over right down the street and gave me another ticket for an expired tag. So the jarhead in me kicks in and says, oh, hell no. They called 9 more police cars. These black police officers.
This in the city?
In the city.
See, that's what I was telling you a little while ago. I never had that issue from a white cop stopping me. But black?
So got 9 police officers at 11 o'clock in the morning on Old Canton Road.
Precinct 4 at that time.
Pulling over me. I got slacks, collar shirt on. I just had met a friend of mine for breakfast over at Primo's. And I come up Old Canton Road and get 2 tickets and then go to jail.
So what was the reason for taking you to jail?
because they said I was disorderly.
Oh, okay then. So
But you gave me 2 tickets for the same thing. I think I deserve to be disorderly.
Man, we got to do better, man.
Okay. So then it get deeper, Black. I go to the daggum jail, piss on the floor, feces on the wall, jail, mug shot. I need to get a copy of my mug shot. Mug shots and everything. And I'm sitting there handcuffed like this in the thing with guys in there. Brother next to me, he was in jail. He was mad.
Headquarters downtown?
Yeah, downtown.
Yeah.
He was in jail mad because he was smoking a blunt. He got off the bus at Hines, and he was walking home smoking a blunt. They pulled him over and gave him a ticket for possession. I'm gonna get back to make sure I come back to that story.
Okay.
Because that's gonna circle back 5 years later. The other guy was in something else. I get out, call my friend, Andrea Jones, that I just met for breakfast. I said, AJ, come get me. I'm in jail. She comes get me.
Bond out?
Whatever the paperwork was, I can't remember what it was. But I went to the chief, Rebecca Coleman, and sat down, told her, I said, something to be done. They didn't do anything. Then I went to court. The judge found me guilty.
For both?
I'm like, I'm guilty of a crime? I got top secret clearance.
What about the initial and the initial ticket and the other ticket?
Everything.
Found you guilty
of everything. Now the
was the judge,
now the
man?
tag expired on the 1st of the month. This was the 16th. So I thought I had 30 days to get your tag.
I think
but
it
you
was-
only get 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think.
But
it's
this is 16th.
14, 15.
But this is 16th of the month now. This is
Understood.
April the 16th.
Understood.
Now also this tax day. I'm meeting people getting my taxes together. Right? I got all this going on this day, right? Here they come with this bull crap. So check this out. So then the judge found me guilty. I go meet with my counsel person. I said, man, something got to be done.
Who was the judge at that time?
I'm getting there. He saw it in my eyes. I was hot. Because I got too high of a to be guilty of a crime. I do high level security all over the world. I'm getting contracted to go places. I go make me 10 grand, make me 20 grand, come back, sit down.
You didn't slap this on my record.
Right. So now I lose a very lucrative ability. Because I got a record.
Yeah.
So then,
And messing with your money.
oh yeah. Imagine if you can go somewhere for a week and make 20, 30 grand, come back. You can go somewhere for a week and make 10 grand, come back. You know what I'm saying? Imagine you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because of a special skill set you've acquired over a lifetime.
Right.
Okay? I love private security.
Right.
So the council person saw it in my eyes what I was thinking about doing. And I said, I'm gonna start getting involved in this damn city. And then he said, this is his version of the story. He said, I was talking to somebody and they said during times of redistricting, figure out who else you would like to sit next to. So he drew me out of his district and put me in another district. And then we wound up serving together on the city council.
How you gonna draw you out of a district?
You're a council person. The power of the pen is important. You can draw folk in and out your district.
Man.
So I ran against the district I was in. So Tony Yarber was my council person. We met him at the Waffle House up there on 18. We went to high school. We went to school together. We went to elementary, junior high school together. My dog.
Shout out to Yarber, man. How is he doing?
Man, I love that brother.
How is he doing?
And check this out. I love it to the point where you can sit back and say we took some unpopular positions that some people got mad over, but time has proven us right. We done took some lashes now. We done made some losses.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But time.
So you got into that how long after this ticket situation?
That ticket situation was 2012, and then by these different meetings I had with different people,
Yeah.
it by that was April. So by the time we go to court, so right around by September or October, I said I'm gonna run for city council.
First time you win?
Yeah, it was 9 people in my race. I only made the runoff by 35 votes.
How long did you stay in there?
8 years.
What made you quit?
Well, my mentor, Dr. Frank McCune, he said, hey, you need to run for something else. You got too many talents and skills. You got too many relationships. You can do something else. And I said, well, we're not going to run for something in the first term. But midway through the second term, let's look at, what the opportunities are.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start growing, start developing ourselves on a consistent basis. And then I started looking at public service commission because we were dealing with the Siemens issue and the stuff Jackson was doing with the water.
Right.
I was anti-Siemens, but other people were for Siemens.
Right.
And those jokers made millions.
Okay.
And some of those people in that process have always been at war with me. Because if it's not right, I don't care how much money you're making. It ain't right. They were discussing the dollars in the deal. I was discussing the problems with the deal. And they took my opposition, and I ran, myself and Jonathan Lee ran on a position to not do Siemens. So those people, not all of them, just a small subset of those people with lower vibrations and lower levels of character saw Siemens as their only opportunity to economically prosper. But for me,
economically prosper on whose
for
behalf?
themselves.
Okay.
Not the city.
Right.
Not the citizens. Right? And so I didn't think we should do it. So they torched Jonathan Lee because he was anti-Siemens.
For that reason.
Right. They torched him. A good dude. Jackson dude. He may just be a regular middle class guy, but he was a good dude. He is a good dude still.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Yarber got behind the veil as mayor, and he starts seeing some things, he does a stop work order on the Siemens project. That means the work stops, the money stops, stop everything. A month or two later, he got lawsuits pegged on him.
How hard is that job?
What job?
Council.
Depends on how serious you are.
Was the pay worth it?
One check you're gonna make $558, and the other check you're gonna make $638. Pay twice a month. So you're gonna bring home after the stuff they take out. You're gonna bring home about $1,200-1,300 a month.
What else are you allowed to do?
It takes up all your time. Ain't nothing else you can do.
What are the benefits?
Service.
Wow. That's heavy.
When I tell you,
Why did you okay, well, you did tell me. Okay, so you were passionate about
because
people.
I started to see stuff. I'm like, hold on, man. I've been all over the world fighting wars and all this kind of stuff. I got some skills my home area need, and this is something that's gonna hit home to you personally. The hardest thing you will ever do is commit to being great in the land you were born in. That's the hardest. There is no harder task that you will ever commit to. I'm talking about being great. I ain't talking about being good. I ain't talking about being excellent. I'm talking about being great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about being that dude. That is the hardest thing you will ever do in your life. But some of us, you, Mac, Richard Bradley. I'm gonna be great right here.
Man, you got.
Why I go be great somewhere? I'm gonna be great right here.
Okay, let me ask you this. Why do so many of council members despise one another?
Don't despise one another.
Is that just the way I'm looking at it, or is it what is it that the citizens are seeing?
If that's the way you feel, I don't think that.
No,
they
it's not
despise
me
you.
personally.
I know.
I'm asking
Yeah.
a general question.
Yeah, general question.
You know.
I don't think they despise each other. The way this thing is built, remember, I'm a fundamental believer that every level of government in this country is built for corruption. City, county, state, federal, because we see corruption.
Have you
Federal
always felt that way?
Yeah, federal corruption. You got the TANF stuff at the state. You got the water stuff at the city. I mean, these structures are built for corruption. They're built that way. It's baked in.
So when people know this and they get into it, are they getting into it to benefit off of it, or are they getting into it to help the situation?
Both.
And out
Some
of that,
are for this and some are for that.
and in your opinion, how many of them get in there and get caught up?
Well, some get caught up, but everybody get in because they want to do good. Everybody get in because they want to do good. It depends on what the good you want to talk about.
Any opinions on the present situation?
I trust that the justice system gonna figure it out. I'm disappointed.
And
Don't put yourself in those situations.
people ask,
You know what made me see this stuff in a different light? Remember the Mayor Terry? Mayor Terry got 10 years.
Yeah, I remember that. What was his name?
Brother, good brother. But the brother, I think he was using the city vehicle and they wouldn't reimburse him for something and he wound up accruing no, he was using his vehicle and they weren't paying him to use the vehicle and he wound up, let me make sure I tell this story right. He was using the city vehicle broke down and I think he paid $1,000, $2,000 or something to get it fixed. And then they wouldn't reimburse him because he paid to get the vehicle fixed. And so then he started using his vehicle and he didn't get reimbursed. And then he used the city card or something to pay to get his car fixed, but it was less than what they didn't pay for the city car. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so he got 10 years for under $2,000.
Damn.
But he got 10 years. Because see, in the political world, it's not about what you did. It's about who you are and you did what you did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's understood.
See,
Yeah,
if the guy cutting the grass for the city go spend $1,000 on gas in his own thing, yes, he should be held accountable for stealing $1,000 worth of gas.
Mm-hmm.
All right? But the mayor of Terry, you are the mayor. That white mayor, the white guy up north, I think he did something with the gas card or something and some gas, and you are the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
See, low-level people are looking at the guilt or innocence.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the problem. That's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is you shouldn't have been in this situation. You're the mayor. And so when I saw the Mayor of Terry and I saw the Mayor of North Mississippi go that, and I said, hold on. Yeah. But see, coming from a military background, we understand duty. We understand duty. We understand that a sense of duty. Like for the role we're in, there's a sense of duty. So go back to my previous conversation about manhood in the house. It's my duty to be a father, whether you like me or not.
One of my sayings.
It's my duty to be a father.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have other places in your life where you are expressing duty, when it comes to public service, you will be a better public servant if you have a sense of duty. That's why I ask everybody, what historical context do you root your service in? And if you root your service in a historical context, when you deep rooted, it's very hard to be uprooted. You can stand tall and fine. You may win, may blow, you may lean. You may sin, but you ain't gonna pay no crime.
What's going on with Kenneth Stokes' opinions on the mayor and how long he has been opinionated?
Somebody sent me.
Have you kept up with it?
Yeah, so somebody sent me some. Somebody sent me some. Where is this daggone video? Somebody sent me some about. So, been so many news clippings. About this whole deal. And let's see here. They were talking about Lumumba and Stokes. That's why I want to use stuff I know here. Okay.
I don't think that Rusty would be here today if it wasn't for the farmer's dog. He was always a dry kid.
Blamed the city's slow response to the water crisis on what he called the mayor's incompetent administration.
Rookie mistakes.
Hold on. That's not the right one. Let me go back a little further.
Rookie mistakes.
Hold on.
Wow.
They sent me so many of them. Okay, here we go.
Certain members of our council have accepted bribes and are steering a contract.
Mayor Chokwe answered Lumumba with a heavy allegation as the fight continues over the city's garbage contract. This comes after the council has twice voted down New Orleans-based company Richards Disposal. Since then, Mayor Lumumba has declared a local emergency for the city, as well as signing an emergency contract with the company. The mayor pointed out two names he says are allegedly involved in taking bribes.
When's the last time that you saw Kenny Stokes and Ashby Foote so closely aligned to one another? You have to ask yourself, what is going on?
This resulting in immediate reaction from both councilmen.
Then name people and imply that they're corrupt or are being corrupted by kickbacks or whatever it may be. And if those claims are made, then they need to be followed up with evidence.
Councilman Stokes responding Monday afternoon as well, denying any partnerships with him and Councilman Foote.
I have never called Foote. I don't talk to Foote. I don't talk to the mayor. And for him to put out that kind of nonsense ain't nothing but lies.
He went on to say the FBI can step in if needed to sort out the matter, but not without calling out some other allegations of his own.
I would send them a letter inviting the FBI, and we're going to make sure that they can come in and investigate. Then after they clear Kenny Stokes, I want the mayor to go get some drug treatment. The mayor must leave this dope alone.
I remember that one.
So again, I'm not the judge in this case. I've been watching the news just like everybody else. I pray for all these folks because I love them to death. But you asked me about Stokes and the mayor. Well, this is along that journey of their relationship. Now, Stokes and I had one dust up. When he came back to the council, he was on the board of supervisors. He came back to the council, and I was council president. And we had a little, just like elephants do. You know, we had a dust up, nothing abrasive, you know, nothing like that. But we had a time where we didn't see eye to eye on something. And he said, "You just want to tell people when they're talking." I said, "I'm the damn president."
So
what I'm saying is,
you just want the best for.
So what I'm saying is, when you can deal with folks out of respect, you can build a relationship based on respect. But when you build a relationship amongst colleagues, and it's other things that's affecting the development of the relationship, and then you have situations like this where you start to allege that people are committing bribery. That is one of the biggest allegations that somebody can give an elected official that will end them forever. Because see, who you are in elected office is who the public gonna frame you as forever.
Yeah, I get that.
So to take the most serious allegation, because the deal with public service is you're in charge of the people's money. So when somebody start calling you that you are bribing, that you are accepting bribes,
Putting the target on your back.
right. So then wheels were already rolling, because back in 2014, I hired a retired IRS agent and a retired FBI agent to conduct an investigation into the city's affairs. They came back with a work product, binders and binders of statements and work product. That work product was sent on a blind referral to the FBI in 2014.
So let me ask you this.
So this, I'm talking, you talking about the relation. These balls have been rolling down the hill for a long time.
For a long time.
Right.
Out of the ones that's named in these allegations, what's your opinion on first of all, how did the allegations get out in the open? Do you know?
So Jackson operates off the mayor council form of government. The reason in 2014 we determined that we should change the form of government to a council manager form of government is because 97% of all the public corruption cases in the whole country come from the structure of government that Jackson has. 97% of all the public corruption in this country come from the mayor council form of government. So I said, well, what's one of the least corrupt forms of government? The council manager. That means you get elected and you choose a professional to run the city. And that person is voted on by the board. It unifies the leadership. You'll have 4 council people versus 7 and a mayor. And the mayor run all the meetings. The mayor is truly in charge of the city because he runs all the meetings. You don't have a council president over here and a mayor over here. You got one person, you go to council meeting, that gum mayor got the gavel. And so I felt that was a better structure for Jackson. Many other folks do. But what Jackson has started doing is let me back up. American government is built on 3 fundamental principles: separation of powers, balance of powers, and checks and balances. Those 3 principles are the 3 fundamental principles of all of American government. Separation of powers. Balance of powers means the power is separated, and now you have an executive, a legislative, and a judicial. each group is supposed to have the same weight of power. So now, when this form of government takes it, well, all the weight is over here, of course it's going to go off the rails because all the power is in the executive branch.
Right.
The legislative branch ain't got no power to stop anything. I'm gonna get a garbage who I want to give it to. I'm gonna declare an emergency and give an emergency contract tomorrow.
We looking sick out there, bro.
That's my point. And my point is that we have manipulated the process, and for what I can see, there is a lot of things that our ancestors will not agree to that have been going on.
You gonna come back in? You stepping back in anytime?
To what?
In the near or far future, in any capacity?
I'm doing this.
Okay. You got your own thing rolling.
Yeah, because if I give you a solution, and to me, I wouldn't support anybody that's running for mayor unless do that one thing. Change the form of government.
Yeah.
Because the structure, we're looking at people, but what about the structure that's producing this activity? It's been going on forever in this structure. So let's change the structure. If you don't want to change the structure, you want to fix Jackson. You want to be the one to manipulate it more. In my mind, you want to be the manipulator, whether it be folks up here or folks down here.
Man, I'm at a loss for words, man. We looking bad out here, bro.
Yeah. So what I'm telling folks is, right now, when we ran last year for Public Service Commissioner, we put a goal to create $100 billion in economic development and create 100,000 jobs. So that's what I'm focused on. And we're on our way.
Bro, we looking bad out here.
Because, see, we got to create jobs and stop begging white folks for jobs and create some daggum jobs in our own communities. That's what I'm focused on.
And that right there that's the bottom line.
I'm focused on the creation of economy.
Yeah,
and wealth.
that's the bottom line.
All these other issues everybody's fighting about, well, you ain't gonna fix none of them, you ain't got no daggum money. Ain't enough money flowing in Mississippi. Fighting over scraps. Nah. This daggum country was built by veterans. Veterans come home from wars and stuff and come back and push it forward. That's why I say, I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. If you're a veteran, you need to step forward and take some of these offices. And so when we look across the table, we negotiate. I know you got a sense of duty to this nation.
Right.
Okay? And that comes before your party. You got a sense of baseline duty to this nation. Because here go the real issue. The real issue we got right now is our real enemy is China. Not white people. China wants to be the #1 economy in the world.
You know what?
Okay, and so do you know what happens when China becomes the #1 economy in the world?
What?
Everybody wants to be their friend. Do you
Well,
know
of course,
but do you know
the top dog? You
right,
the big dog.
All right. So now, do you know who they will no longer want to be friends of? The previous #1.
Right.
So now
it's just like what's going on in our city right now with the city officials.
Right, I'm going a little deeper. So when you have a situation where you ain't nobody in China fussing with each other.
Right.
When it comes to, do they want China to beat America? Americans have to understand, right now, it's us against China, not us against us.
Man, America ain't gonna get that.
It's us against them.
America just like these niggas. And that's my point. That's what I'm telling you.
I got you.
We've been through a bunch of different subjects while we've been sitting here talking, and that's my whole point, man. We got, and I hate to just put it like that, man, but we got niggas in all of these different situations, man, in family situations, school system, government, city administrative, and we just looking bad out here, man. We looking.
But check this out.
Real bad.
Stop looking for hope and be the hope.
Yeah. Yeah. You right.
In
You
your
right.
circle, be the hope you looking for.
You
Be
right.
what
You
you
right.
looking for.
I've been doing a good job at
Heck
that.
yeah, you have. I check you out online.
Yeah. I've been doing a damn good job, but it's rough.
Oh yeah.
Dekeither is rough, man.
That's why you gotta hang out with folks that say, hey, I hang out with this group right here,
Yeah.
and I swing, I breeze through all these other family reunions and all these other places. But this is where I spend the bulk of my time with people who think like this, that we can move forward. Y'all can see, cause check this out. No matter who become president, that don't advance my economy.
It don't. So why you worried about that?
I ain't worried about. I worry about what does it rock my boat, and I put that level of attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can give it all to the president, but what I know about this whole thing, the president is meant to distract you from what all these other folks are doing to you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say that again.
I just about to say that, man.
The presidency
say that again.
is designed to distract you from what all these other folks are doing to you.
Mm-hmm.
Remember now, I used to be on Marine. I used to be in the Marine. That when the president get off the helicopter and you salute him, they used to be me. So I've been in proximity, to this situation.
We got to start this podcast, man. You asked me some years ago, come holler at you at your studio.
Yeah,
Sit down with you and let's get some stuff started. I think it's about that time.
It's cool, man. It ain't about an hour a week or something. It's cool.
Yeah. We need to pop some episodes out here, man. Need to sit down and structure some stuff, man, and just pop some.
It don't take but a second. You came by tonight.
Yeah.
You came by, pop up, pull up.
Yeah, that's what we got to do.
You pull up, I got power cord right here, you can go walk out on the lake.
Yeah. Throw a little something on the grill.
Yeah, I got a grill over there. I got a refrigerator over there on the back porch.
That's right. Yeah. Well, it's been real nice, man. But we got to continue this because there's a whole lot of subjects we touched, man, and we didn't get a chance to just dig down in. And I like to dig down in them subjects.
Yeah, man. So to wrap it all up, I focus on what I need to be doing. I'm just talking to men. Again, because women going to do what they're going to do. Us as men, we need to, because see, control what you can control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because what I've never known a man to desire to give his all to what he is not outside of, because men are real simple people.
Man, please say that again.
We look at life and say, you know what? I'm not going to worry about the stuff that's outside my control.
Yeah, man.
So when you look at our community is out of control because ain't nobody in control. So what I say is men, take control of your situation to reel it back in. Well, I'm going to blame women for something men supposed to be doing.
Can't.
Okay, who the hardest rapper of this year? Who the hardest rapper on the scene? Glorilla.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I would just say.
What do you mean?
Oh, you putting it in a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were separating the genders.
But what do you mean? Because you're a DJ, had to throw some music in there.
Yeah, they done fucked up.
I'm highlighting that as a greater point.
I know what you're saying. But I had to stick that in there.
I know.
Looking real messy right now.
That's what I'm saying. We got to produce better men.
And like you were saying on the mayor's situation, and where not just the mayor, but the city officials is tied up in this scandal. Why put yourself in that position?
My message to every elected official, and I ain't saying that they even did this because the justice system going to determine the truth and the lie.
Right.
Because I done seen some stuff, I witnessed some stuff firsthand that was made to spice up in the Yarber situation. They really wasn't even true.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
You know what I'm saying?
Understood.
Now, I'm not saying Tony a saint.
Right.
I'm just saying that I've seen people spice some stuff up to get an initial reaction. I've seen that.
Right.
But my message to every elected official, and even anybody who handles anybody else's money, anytime cash shows up, in a way that cash is not supposed to show up, take a pause. Now, if you passing the collection plate and you walking in with some cash, that's one thing.
Right.
Like, you at church.
Right.
All right.
Don't be no
But-
damn. In other words, don't be no damn fool.
Right. But when you like performing your duties and you cash a private jet and a strip club, if those things enter your situation, you don't need to be in that
You need
situation.
to step back.
You need to be in that situation. Because my thing is, that's why I blame men. And I ain't saying that they did that. Right?
Right.
What I'm saying is, where was the men that said, hey man, we shouldn't be doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, hey, somebody in that circle needs to say,
Hands off.
hey, I'm out, dog. Remember Boys in the Hood? Hey, let me out.
Doe.
No, let me out.
You sitting back there thinking, I don't want no parts to do with this because this is
And-
going to
and-
go on and on and on.
Right.
Never shouldn't have been here in the first place.
Should listen to my daddy.
Too black, too strong. Yes, sir.
We call my damn daddy right now. Tell him I love him.